All right, what's going on, you guys? We're going to be opening up the controversial TCGplayer / eBay Kuromi's Cryptid Carnival Collector's Edition. So the reason why this was so controversial was this was the set that was released for $300, a pre-order that was set to ship December 11th. It actually shipped early. A lot of people got it on time. A lot of people got it ahead of time. So they did well in that regard. But what they didn't do well with was the secondary market value of the Kuromi set overall, because they clearly over-ordered this product. When they released this pre-order, they had 7,000 of these boxes listed, and in that time, they only sold about 500 from the time that they started the pre-order to now. So just a small percentage of the boxes that they had. So as soon as they started shipping out the boxes, they lowered the price to $150 from $300, refunded everybody that pre-ordered the difference. So they did right in that regard. But they also kind of destroyed the secondary market in one foul swoop, because at the time that they cut this price in half to $150 for 2 booster boxes, the going rate for one box was about $90 to $100. By them cutting the price of this box in half, that makes the price per box $75, which when they did that was the cheapest box on the market by about 20%. And it's only $5 more than basically what you would pay to get it from the distributor. So they're really kind of hurting the LGSs and the other people that are trying to sell this box. So really kind of screwing everybody over. But we are going to open up both these boxes tonight. And I did want to show you guys, there is a slight difference. I don't know if there's going to be any difference on the actual cards. But if you see here on the actual box, this is a different variation of the box. So we never got these pink boxes that were pictured in the original release. But this is a second variation of the box, because if you look at the original box here, you've got all 3 characters on here: My Melody, Kuromi, Hello Kitty. On these new boxes, it's just a Hello Kitty stamp. So this is technically a different variation of box. I will say the quality of this collector's box is actually really nice. It's really thick cardboard. It's not like a cheap Walmart Pokémon like blaster pack. It's really heavy, dense, thick cardboard, nice bright colors. Looks great. You get the 3 promo cards, 2 booster boxes. And I'm curious to see if the pull rates are any better in these boxes than they are in the original boxes. Because from my experience, and what also seemed to be the same experience for a lot of people with the original boxes, Sanrio 6, really the only cards that are valuable in this set, pretty much, aside from the secret rare. The pull rates are very hard to get one of those cards. And in my experience, you had to open up 3 to 5 boxes to pull one Sanrio 6, which at the time, they were like $100 cards. Right now, probably more like 50. All right, so how do you open this thing? I guess it slides out. Oh no, it's magnetic, I guess. Or Velcro. Oh, it is magnetic. Cool. All right, so I guess there's also a coin and some dice and stuff in here. So here's the promos. This one has a little Mothman on it. Let's get these out. So I actually ended up ordering 5 of these once they cut the price in half, because like I said, at the time, this was the cheapest price per booster box on the market. And I'm actually really curious to see if the pull rates are different. So it should be a fun little experiment. And then maybe at the end, we'll go ahead and open up the regular box of Kuromi that I've got sitting over here. Might as well. All right, so you got the sleeves with Mothman and Kuromi. This is going to be what the secret rare artwork looks like. It's also the artwork on one of the 3 packs. Is there anything special about the dice? They're just pink. The coins in there. Welcome, everybody, by the way. What's up, Metazoo Menace? Bill Bones. Nick, are you into gaming? Not really. What's up, Broly? I've never been a big video game guy. Is there anything else different about these boxes? Not that I can see. So I think the only difference, the color is about the same, is this Hello Kitty logo. Interesting. All right, let's get into this here. The skew is different too on the bottom. Let's see. Where is the skew? The skew on the back? Yeah, this one ends in 41062 and this one ends in 4116. I've also seen people speculate that there's going to be a different secret rare in these boxes, but I don't know if that's been confirmed or not. I kind of doubt it. But there's only one way to find out, I guess. All right. So we'll start out with this one here. And I think by now, I guess we didn't put it on video, but I had Chris over this weekend and like 3 or 4 of my other friends, and we ended up opening off camera a bunch of 151. We ended up pulling the Charizard and the Blastoise out of there, and we probably opened 5 more boxes of Kuromi. Didn't get a single Sanrio 6 out of all 5 boxes that we opened. So we did that off camera and didn't have really any luck at all. Oh, someone has already pulled the Mothman secret rare from these boxes, so it's the same secret rare. Okay. I assumed it would be. And really the same people that I've seen speculating that there's a different secret rare are also the same people saying that there's pink boxes with better pull rates, which we've really seen no evidence of except for the original concept art for the pink box existing. I still stand by the rationale that if there was going to be a pink box, it would have been in this collector's set, so you could have both variations of the artwork in the collector's set. That seems just like it would make sense to me, but then again, TCGplayer doesn't do a whole lot of things that seem to make sense for the Metazoo fans, like kind of destroying the secondary market price of these things. And I keep telling myself I'm not going to open up any more of this, but then the price just keeps going down, and I keep opening it, and I'm not really getting anything good. So then I want to keep opening to try to get something good, and just kind of the never-ending cycle of gambling, I guess. So let's see. Looks like the stamp isn't different. It's the same Kuromi stamp, it looks like. Kuromi and Chibi Bunnyman, Kuromi and Giraffe Possum, and a number 2 Kuromi reverse. Starting off with a reverse holo, not the way I wanted to start it. But yeah, the thing that sucks is you've also got the Sanrio 6 being hard to pull, but also it's kind of, after opening so many boxes, it kind of gets to be a very repetitive set because the set is so small and all the artwork is very similar because all the beasties in the set are chibi versions. So all the cards kind of look alike. A lot of the cards have the same like clip art of Kuromi copied and pasted on just different cards. So after a while, it kind of becomes like a very redundant set. Like, this is what I mean about the artwork. This artwork of Kuromi, exact same artwork on the My Melody card and pack, just flipped. So it was just like they copied and pasted a lot of just random Chibi Aquila Bappa, just random pictures of Kuromi. On Sanrio's website, they advertise that they have 2 different booster box artworks. I bet that's where the pink box is hiding. Yeah, but I think in the description on Fanatics, they also said that they were selling 2 different variations, and that turned out not to be the case. Or they just haven't released the other variation yet, which really wouldn't make any sense. Why would they wait so long to release the other booster box if they've already released this one? Especially if there's not anything unique about them. If there's not a different secret rare, there's not different pull rates, then what would be the point in waiting to release it? And the regular box that I've got here actually came from the Metazoo Marketplace Black Friday sale. Ooh, nice. There's a big hit. So we're starting off with a big hit. This is my favorite of the Sanrio 6, actually. Kuromi number 4. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put this in a Kuromi sleeve. This is the only one of the ones that I've pulled that I haven't sold on eBay. I'm actually going to be sending in Kuromi number 4 to a PSA, and now I've got 2 of them to send. So that's nice. And I've also still never pulled either of the Aura cards or the Terra card that are part of the Sanrio 6 here, which seem to be the cards that are holding a decent amount of value, but I also haven't even seen anybody pull them. Reverse faux follet. Metazoo Menace says, so far so good, and the pull rates have seemed better in these collector boxes from what you've seen. That's definitely a good start. I mean, I don't know how much lower the price of these boxes realistically is going to go, but if it gets down to like the UFO and Wilderness booster box territory, where you could see people putting it on sale for $25, $30, I might just keep buying these boxes until I pull a secret rare serialized card. Kuromi's Cryptid Carnival Celebration full holo. But this has been really a pretty remarkably fast crash. And the main reason really is the TCG player thing. It's not necessarily that this set is not doing well compared to other Metazoo sets, just in terms of popularity. TCG player definitely is what crashed it. But it really was quite a rapid downfall. Like a week and a half ago, I bought those boxes from Fanatics for full MSRP, $140 a piece. And now you can get a box for $75. I think I saw someone post on the Metazoo Marketplace Facebook page that there was a box that sold for like $52 with $10 shipping or something. Like it sold for 60 something. Kuromi and My Melody. But the shipping was like really high. Like it was over $10, but it still put it, I think, in the 60s, which is a pretty remarkably quick crash for a product right after release like this. I think UFO was really the only set that had a similar crash. And I don't even think UFO was that quick. But that was definitely a set that seemed like it faded in popularity really, really quickly. And the secondary market prices really didn't hold up well for UFO boxes. You have to let me know in the chat, though, if you guys have had better luck as far as the Sanrio 6 pull rates. How many boxes have you opened? How many Sanrio 6 have you pulled? Has anybody pulled the secret rare in this chat? I think close to 10 have been pulled now, right, Metazoo Menace? Metazoo Menace also says that 717 of these collector boxes have now sold on eBay. So that means they sold roughly 150 more boxes. Because prior to cutting the price, they were in the mid to high 500s. Doesn't seem like these booster boxes are randomly sorted like all the past sets. And yeah, it has to be around 10 secret rares pulled so far. And I'm not going to open them all tonight. I'm going to open these 2 boxes from this one collector box and then maybe this bonus box that's not from a collector's box. But I do have 3 more collector's boxes to open, so 6 more boxes total. But I might hold on to them for a little bit and wait and see. I mean, that really is pretty good volume. If they sold 150 more of these collector boxes when they cut the price, that's 300 more booster boxes. It's a pretty, in just a matter of a couple days, that's a reasonably high level of interest, I guess. But definitely not reasonably high compared to what they thought the interest was going to be, having 7,000 boxes. And that's really the big problem with them kind of undercutting everybody on the market with these booster boxes, is if they really have 7,000 of these collector's boxes, that's 14,000 booster boxes. And I think that's going to prove to be a pretty significant portion of the market. And I think if right after the sale, they only immediately sold 150 more boxes, if they have 6,000 plus more boxes sitting in a warehouse, they're going to sell for this price, maybe even lower if they're having trouble getting rid of them at that price. I feel like it's gonna take a long time to eat through that TCGplayer booster box supply. So I feel like that price of $75 a box is gonna hover around for a long time, because I don't think that 7,000, which is what I think happened. I think they thought this is gonna be a huge product with a ton of demand, a ton of interest, because it's got this huge IP with Sanrio. And I think they thought the demand was gonna be way higher than it was, so they over-ordered. And I think they probably do have 7,000 of these sitting in the warehouse like they had listed on their inventory for the pre-orders. And I think now they're really barely moving them. Because while I do think 150 of these collector's boxes is fairly significant, this 300 booster boxes, that's not even putting a dent in what they've got, if they've got 7,000 of these. But I was glad to hear that they actually refunded people that paid the pre-order price of $300. Because I know I would have been pissed if I had bought the $300 pre-order and then they cut the price the next day to $150 right after they shipped. Every box I've seen open has between 11 to 15 hits, but no crazy random hit ratios like a box with 30. Do you like it to be more consistent like Pokémon? So I've said this before, and I think that I really like what they did with Native, and I think that's why Native is proving to be a box that holds up really well in value, is they have like a middle level of rarity between secret rare and regular holo. Because I think the problem with a set like UFO is the holos were really easy to hit. Like you would get UFO boxes that had 25, 30 holos pretty regularly, but you hit the holos so easily, and they were all kind of equally as rare, they really didn't hold any value. So you're really only getting value out of a set like UFO if you pull a secret rare. I really liked how Native, they had these variable boxes that are the kind of random hit rates where you could maybe have a box with less holos, maybe a box with more, but there was different rarities in the holos, like the Piazza Bird and the Wendigo were really hard to hit. The Aura cards, really hard to hit. I think there was, 17 chase cards in Native, all variable rarity. Then you had regular holos and secret rares still in Native. That's kind of what I prefer for a Metazoo set. I would be okay with Metazoo boxes being a little more hit or miss. If you had a lot of variability, 17 chances at a chase card. Chase cards are more rare than a regular holo. Still have secret rares that are a step above that. Hello Kitty, I think was, or this Kuromi set, I think was trying to imitate that, but I don't think, however they did it, seems to have been the right way. Because this really does feel almost too hard to get the hits. Native, you had the different levels of rarity, but you could open 2 or 3 boxes and get I think in most cases you'd get a decent number of those hits. The native, was it the native 19 or was it 17? And especially at release, when this was an MSRP product of $140, a lot of people were selling it for like $115 to $120 per box. If you're opening up 5 of these boxes and maybe pulling $100 card, it's not fun. And I think a lot of these holos that are just regular rarity are going to end up being like under $5 cards, if they're not all already under $5 cards. I mean, just in that first week alone, I pulled that, when I pulled that Chibi, Sam Sinclair, and Adam Ackler, that's one of the Sanrio 6. And just like a day or two before I sold mine, I saw people selling them for about $100 to $110 just for the card. And mine sold for $51 just a couple days later. So you could potentially open 5 boxes, pull a Sanrio 6, have it be one like that, and it's worth $50. Like, there's no way you're getting your value back in any reasonable capacity from the singles in this set at this type of rate. But native, I feel like you can get a lot of value back out of your box pretty easily. And obviously, you shouldn't go into buying a booster box with the expectation you're going to make all your money back. Of course, that's not going to happen. But if you're spending $140 a box times 5 boxes, that's like $700 to maybe pull a $50 to $100 card. That value proposition just seems a little too far off. And even now, what's up, Mr. Sly? And even now, if you can get a box for $70, nice, Chibi Rose. If you can get a box for $70, which is basically the wholesale price, half of MSRP, 5 boxes is still $350 to maybe pull a $50 to $100 card. I guess you could get lucky and pull a couple. You could get lucky and pull the secret rare. But really, the expectation of value in these boxes is really pretty low based on the pull rates that I've seen and the pull rates that I've experienced. Metazoo Menace, I've noticed that too. I don't know if every Sanrio 6 that I pulled came from a Mothman pack, but I did notice that at least a couple of them did. And I only pulled, well, I've pulled 4 now, including this one. So let's do a little test. This will be a fun test to do. Let's just open up a whole row of nothing but the Mothman packs and see if we hit anything in them. What do you think is a reasonable print run for the main set before moving forward to mass demand? CN1's 25K isn't holding MSRP at this point, which is crazy. Well, I do think it's worth pointing out that Cryptid Nation First Edition, the MSRP wasn't $140 back then. I think it was $100 for CN1. but now seeing one has dipped beneath, I think only one time, has dipped beneath the current MSRP for a Metazoo booster box, which I think is significant. But I do think we should point out that it has not dipped beneath its original MSRP, which was, I believe, $100 for Cryptid Nation First Edition. So I think that is an important distinction to make, but the fact that it's going for less than the MSRP of a Hello Kitty set is significant. But I think it bounced back a little bit. I think the sale right after that $130 sale, I believe it was $132. I think the sale right after that one, the next first edition box that sold was over $160. So it bounced up like $30 more. And I don't think it's gone below $150 again, but I haven't checked in a couple days. And fun fact, it was actually Chris that bought that first edition box, my friend Chris that came over, and he brought it, so I can confirm. I saw some people saying, oh, it might be a second edition box. They might have just labeled it wrong, and maybe there was some confusion in the description or something. But I can confirm they shipped him a legitimate, authentic first edition booster box, and he paid $132. But the picture was a first edition box, and the title was a first edition box. So I don't know where the confusion was. But I saw people in the comments saying, well, people might have been confused and thought it was second edition, but I don't know why they would have thought that. Latent Gaming is amazing, 100%. Shout out to whoever mentioned Latent Drop. I believe that was here on this stream. I wish I bought more too. He was selling $30 Topps Chrome hobby boxes for Black Friday. And we actually opened those this weekend as well. I want to say we pulled, I believe, from 20. We got nothing major. We pulled 2 black refractors. And out of 20 hobby boxes, I believe we pulled something like 15 orange refractors. So those boxes were not like tampered with or searched somehow. And I honestly don't think we had a single box without a serialized hit. But we did really, really good on orange refractors. I think my favorite hits were orange refractor Frogman, black refractor Tizharuk, orange refractor Cryptid Cam of Hodag. We also had an orange, we just had a bunch of orange refractors, but I think my favorite was the orange Frogman. Chibi Mike the Chicken. So Leighton, those boxes, really good deal, and almost everyone hit. And honestly, not that many greens. There were a lot of orange and gold hits. Like, it was a pretty significant amount of orange, which is numbered out of 25. Kuromi and Black Dog. What is manga at Loveland Castle week? This week? I only bought a couple to keep for my collection, but I wish I picked up a few more. Yeah, I originally bought 10, and then when I realized what a good deal it was, I immediately went and bought 10 more. Kuromi and My Melody, really good looking card. So from those Mothman packs, no Sanrio 6, except for the first Kuromi number 4 that we pulled earlier in the stream. Chibi Forest Elemental Queen reverse. Hell yeah, got my orange frog. If I had the box, I have a whole box of all the hits that we opened this weekend because we opened a lot of stuff. So I've got a whole box full of sleeved up cards. If I had it down here, I would show you guys, but I think it's upstairs. Because we opened all 20 of the Topps Chrome boxes. I got him a couple Hello Kitty boxes for Christmas. He got me a couple, so we opened up about 5 of those, I believe. We opened a first edition box. We opened a couple boxes of Nightfall, a couple boxes of UFO, all 20 Topps Chrome boxes. We opened up, between all of us, I think 5 151 Ultra Premium collections. And I actually finally pulled the Charizard, and then Zach pulled the Blastoise, the secret rare hit. So we did pretty good on those. We opened up some celebrations. We opened up a whole booster box of Obsidian Flame. We were just opening shit 24/7 all weekend. And I had 4 or 5 of my friends here in and out all weekend. Good night, Jorge. But yeah, that's my idea of a fun weekend with the boys. We're not going to strip clubs. We're not going to bars. We're getting drinks, staying home, and opening cards for as long as we possibly can. That to me is a good weekend, and I like having friends that, to them, that's also a great weekend. Just being around your homies, opening cards, drinking on the couch in front of the Christmas tree. And that's as good as a weekend gets in my book. Kuromi number 2. Especially now, a lot of my friends... Chris is having a baby in March. Zach just had a baby. Zach's married. Chris is engaged. I had Alex over. He's actually single, doesn't have a family. But then I also had Grant. Grant's dating somebody with a kid. So all my friends are getting married, starting families, having kids. It's a lot tougher to get together for a whole weekend and just open cards and drink when you've got real jobs, real responsibilities, families, wives. So this was like a really rare treat this weekend that we all had our schedules line up to where I could have them all stay at my house this weekend. We could just chill, watch TV, open cards, just hang out. That's why we did it off camera. I didn't want it to be stressful. I didn't want it to be like one person at a time. I didn't want anybody to worry about what they were saying, if they were cussing, and if they what they were saying on the stream. I wanted everybody to just kick back and open at the same time. And I think it's also pretty rare to have 5 friends over the age of 30 that all would sit around and enjoy opening cards for a weekend instead of like going out to a bar or going to a strip club or whatever. And every single one of them I've been friends with for over a decade, probably closer to 20 years than 10. My Melody and Chibi Gasyanditha. My Melody Treat or Treat Bowl. I wonder if that's a typo. Oh wow, I just realized we got 29 watching. It's pretty high for a Metazoo stream these days. Metazoo content has really been kind of in a downward trajectory. Doesn't seem to get as many views on live streams. Regular videos don't seem to get as many views as they used to. 29 on a Metazoo stream is like a pretty solid number for this channel. Although I did notice my last couple videos got like 1,500 to 2,000 views and they were Metazoo related, which to me seems relatively high for a Metazoo video. Kuromi and Black Dog. I'd say any Metazoo video with more than 1,000 views is a bigger Metazoo video. you'll probably notice that a lot of Metazoo content that people are making right now, even if they've got bigger channels, if they've got 5, 10, 15, 20,000 subscribers, a lot of Metazoo content right now, when you click it, the views will be in the hundreds for like the majority of Metazoo content. So to break 1,000 on a Metazoo video, especially in this climate, another Kuromi number 2, nice. Seems like a difficult ask. Balloon says, I think the downward trend just describes Metazoo at the moment. Sadly, I still love it, but also I'm fairly negative about it too, to be honest. There's nothing wrong with being honest with how you feel, man. I feel the same way. I love the artwork. I love the concept. I love the cryptids. I love the cards. I love Mothman. I love Frogman. I love collecting. I love grading. I love opening. I love the community, as kind of toxic as it can be sometimes and volatile and negative as it can be. I love the community, but the direction of the brand doesn't seem to be a very optimistic one or a very positive one. The bottom line is I think something has got to change. Something's got to give, because what they're doing right now is not working. And I think the more people acknowledge that and point that out, the better. I think that is the sad reality. Metazoo, as it is right now, I don't think it will survive as it is right now if there's no major change in the future. They can't release anything, any main set, without there being some issue. With every set, there's some delay, there's some controversy, there's some drama. This set was doing kind of well at release. It seemed pretty well received. It seemed decently popular. It seemed like people were interested. I would say my videos about some of this Hello Kitty stuff were getting a lot more views than any video that I did about maybe Native or Seance. This seemed to be a pretty popular set. But then there's this big TCG player drama. Like, Metazoo has these relationships and they get into these arrangements where they probably had to approve TCG player ordering 7,000 of these boxes to sell. And that was a bad move. And it's like every release, there's something. There's some kind, like, there's no way around it. TCG player destroyed the secondary market of this set for the foreseeable future. This is going to really hurt the LGSs, the smaller guys that bought these boxes at wholesale prices, trying to make a few bucks, selling them in their game store, selling them on their website, whatever. It's just hard to defend a lot of it. And again, that's not really necessarily Metazoo's fault, but it was a relationship that they got into. It was something that they agreed to, and they probably approved that number of booster boxes going to TCG Player for that partnership. But the point is, when stuff like this happens, every time a set releases, it leaves a negative taste in the mouths of the people that are supporting the brand. The LGSs are what's holding Metazoo up. And if they keep getting screwed like this, they're not going to want to keep buying Metazoo. This is going to leave a really bad taste in their mouth. If they bought a lot of this and they thought, oh, this is going to be a big popular set, it's got Hello Kitty characters, they bought a lot, and then 2 weeks after release, they get completely obliterated by some deal that Metazoo made with TCG Player and eBay, and they decide to dump them for basically nothing. It's going to leave a sour taste in their mouth, and they'll probably never come back. And I think a lot of the people that still buy Metazoo and still buy it to sell it, like the LGSs, these are like their core fans. These are the hardcore people that Metazoo doesn't want to lose. And still, with these people that are left, they're getting screwed left and right. And these people are going to be upset and angry left and right. And they're going to lose these people left and right. And I think there's very few people left right now that are hardcore, like, believers in Metazoo. Then something like this happens that screws really everybody. I mean, maybe not me because I'm not reselling the boxes, but anybody that is buying these boxes to resell the boxes, whether it's an LGS, someone with an eBay account, a local game store, whatever, they all got screwed this past week. They all got bent over by TCG Player. And even though it's not directly the fault of Metazoo, they're probably not going to buy the next Metazoo set because they just took a bath on this one. The only real hit, we did pull one Sanrio 6, which is significant. Because my past experience has been 3 to 5 booster boxes. You'll pull one Sanrio 6. From one collector box, the first one, we pulled one. So that is good. I will say that's good. Overall, the holo pull rate seemed to me to be about the same. So you asked about the difference. There is only one difference, well, two that we've noticed. Hello Kitty stamp instead of Kuromi, Hello Kitty, and My Melody on the front. And the SKU number on the back is different. The last, I believe, 4 digits are different. 5 digits. No, 4. So this one is, the original one is 41062, and this one is 4116. So different SKUs. So these are the two, I believe these are the 2 and only 2 variations of the Kuromi booster box. I'm still convinced that the pink box doesn't exist. Mike said those would have a signed artist card inside. In the Kuromi boxes? I don't remember that. Is that true, chat? There was this. This was in the box. I guess this is technically artwork. Maybe it was this. It's like a lottery. There were about 12 or so art cards. So just specify for me, are you guys saying that the art cards would be inside of a pack inside of the booster box? Or you're saying the art cards would be just thrown into random of these collector boxes? Like in with the dice and the coins and stuff. Or they're in the booster boxes? Yes, Gladiator. I think it would be very fair to say that Metazoo is on the decline of hype. I think there's a lot of things to consider and a lot of caveats to that. Because you really got to be honest. I know a lot of people enjoy hating on Metazoo. And I think negativity towards Metazoo is something that a lot of people like to watch and like to put out there. But the reality is, modern Pokemon is doing pretty bad. Modern MTG isn't doing the greatest. Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't doing that well. All the, collectibles as a whole, the economy as a whole is not doing great right now. But if you compare Metazoo to a lot of the modern Pokemon sets, there's a lot of worthless hits in a lot of the modern Pokemon. And there's a lot of stuff, even sealed product in modern, that's on a heavy decline. So it's not like Pokemon is like booming and Metazoo's failing. Everything is kind of bearish right now. On the eBay live stream, Mike Woodell said 20 different orders of the collector's box will have a random artist sketch card included in their package. No one has hit it, though. I'll have to take a closer look at my 3 other collector's boxes, then. I didn't really pay attention to that. All right, so I think I want to do the same thing on this box. Scarlet and Violet is not my favorite. Yes, I agree. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think it's the economy. But I also think a lot of the Pokemon designs for Scarlet and Violet really kind of sucked. I think a lot of people don't like a lot of the new Pokemon. I think Scarlet and Violet, I don't know if this is a controversial take or not, but I think the Scarlet and Violet games, at least to me, and I'm not a heavy gamer, but I think the games weren't even close for me in terms of how much I like Sword and Shield. So when the Sword and Shield sets came out, I had been playing the games, and I loved the games, and I was familiar with all the characters. So I was a little bit more into those sets. And it could be because Sword and Shield came out like right around lockdown time, so everybody was stuck at home. and we had really nothing better to do than play a Pokemon video game all day, every day. So that could be a factor too, but I don't really like the Scarlet and Violet games really at all. I don't like a lot of the Scarlet and Violet characters' designs really at all. And so far, all the modern sets, except for 151, that have been in the Scarlet and Violet era, really have just not been doing it for me. And I think all those factors kind of combine and contribute. Tell me if you guys agree or disagree with this. But I think Scarlet and Violet, to me, those are the worst 3 starters as far as design that I think they've ever had. I think every starter looks terrible in the final evolution. So from the moment that you start the game with those starters, I'm already turned off by the design. Looks like people agree. Yeah, the duck is the worst one. Magician Cat is based. Come at me. The alligator one I would say is my favorite of the 3, but I'm a little bit biased because I always used to start the Game Boy games. No matter what it was, I would start with a fire-type Pokemon. But I think those were the worst 3 choices overall, I think, of any of the generations of Pokemon. I thought those designs were so just like lazy and just kind of whack. They didn't really, I don't know. I don't know about you guys. They just didn't do it for me. So from the second I started the game and I saw those starters, I just was having trouble getting hooked. All right, so we're going to do the same thing that we did for the last box. We're going to do it a little bit earlier on. Been a little bit of a theory or just a speculation about the Mothman pack arts, that they are more densely populated with Sanrio 6. So we're just going to rip through all the Mothman packs first and see if we hit a Sanrio 6 from one of those packs. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing that I hate. The new, like, diamond crown gem on the head feature, the special evolution thing with the new Scarlet and Violet, I think is horrible. It's like every generation, their only artistic addition recently, even with Sword and Shield, the VMAX or Gigantamax, like the gimmicks that they add to these games to make them different, they're just really not that creative, kind of unnecessary, in my opinion, and just kind of dumb creative additions to the artwork of some of these cards. Mega Evolution was the best, man. I didn't mind the Mega Evolution artistic direction. Especially because at the time that came out, that was like the first iteration of like adding design elements to already existing Pokemon, right? So at the time, it was kind of a fresh idea to like add extra armor or add an extra weapon or whatever to a Pokemon. It was kind of a fresh concept, but now add a random rock to the top of its head or whatever. It's like they just add random stuff to Pokemon now to make it different. I do think the Mega Evolution was a little bit, I think it was controversial at the time though. I think a lot of people didn't like it at the time. But I think it was probably more well-received than, like, the current stuff, because at the time, at least, even if it looked bad in some cases, at least it was a fresh idea. Yeah, tag team was cool. Reverse. Chibi Skunk Ape. I kind of wish a lot of Sword and Shield alt arts didn't have the red holo. It takes away from it. I actually agree with that. I think that's a good call. I agree 100%. Full holo, Chibi Griddle Greaser Pete. And I think you guys can see what I mean now, because now I'm not even reading the names. When you open a lot of this set, because it's such a small set size, and because all the beasties are chibi versions, it gets a little, it just gets redundant after several boxes, because they're just all little cute monsters that kind of look the same, with like the same artwork of Kuromi or My Melody copied and pasted on most of them. Even when the set is small, at least in a typical set, the variation and the design of a lot of the beasties or the cryptids, they all look, for the most part, completely different. Like, there's a lot of variability. But with a chibi set, they're all just little cute monsters, and it gets kind of redundant when none of them are really hits. Chris Osa says, they still make these cards? Yes, they do. And as much as I will openly say on videos all the things that I don't like about what Metazoo is doing, or all the things that I just think are negative in general about Metazoo, I'll say all that in these videos, but I always say I will continue to be one of Metazoo's probably biggest fans. I'll keep opening, I'll keep collecting, I'll keep doing these streams. I still enjoy it. Regardless of all the bad decisions or negative things or missed shipping deadline or late product. I hate to say it, but I still enjoy it, and I'll continue to do it. Let me know, what do you guys think in the chat? Do you guys think we're really going to get a Christmas set this year? I think it was Argos that said he knows for a fact we're going to be getting a Christmas set, but today's the 12th. They're cutting it kind of close. We didn't get our Halloween set, at least nothing specifically for Halloween. This set was Halloween themed. It's got pumpkins and masks and costumes and trick-or-treat themed cards in the set. But got it like 3 weeks after Halloween. So that was late. So let me know, do you think we're going to get a Christmas set this year in time for Christmas? That's the first question. The second question is, do you think we're going to get Legacy in December or not? Legacy originally promised for September, then bumped back to December. We're almost halfway. It's crazy how fast it's gone, but we're almost halfway through December now. No word on what's going on with Legacy. I have a feeling we're not going to get it in December. They're going to miss a second deadline or a second shipping estimate. They're not even estimates. They said expected to ship on the pre-order in September. In fact, I think the phrasing was ships by September. Argos was hinting hard at a Christmas set, but still nothing. And if they have a set, it'll just be a money grab. I stopped putting money on Legacy till what I paid for comes. Balloon Fight says 0 chance for Legacy in December. See, this is the kind of thing, man. That's the kind of thing that makes it hard for me to support Metazoo still. I still enjoy opening it. I will continue to collect it, but after all the feedback that Metazoo has gotten from fans that are pissed and disappointed about the missed deadlines and the constant delays, the lack of communication, nothing ever ships on time. Every single release, there's a problem. people still haven't gotten the native streamer kits. And Metazoo is constantly getting this feedback. They've got to be seeing it. They've got to be hearing it. And on their newest set, Legacy, which is supposed to encapsulate like all the best beasties from all the sets up until that point, it's supposed to be like this really nice set. If they miss their shipping deadline twice and just don't communicate as to why or what's the reason or where it's at, or if it is going to be delayed again, how about a little bit of advanced warning? This is the kind of thing that makes it hard to justify or support what they're doing. It sucks. And I spent a pretty good amount of money on Legacy. I think I spent about $1,000, and I bought it at wholesale price. And they were spell books, so they're a little bit cheaper than a booster box. But I bought a pretty good amount of them. No idea when I'm going to get them. It says December on the distributor site. But there's been no communication since then. And with Kuromi, before release, I think for maybe about a week and a half to 2 weeks before we actually started to get our shipping notifications that our Kuromi boxes had shipped from the distributors, there was like several email communications from the distributor saying, we're going to be getting them this week. We're going to have them in the warehouse. We're going to ship them next week. Then when they got them, they said we got them. When they started shipping, they said we started shipping them. We've heard none of that from the distributors about Legacy. So Legacy seems to not even be known for the distributors when they're going to get them. They certainly don't have them yet. And we're getting kind of, we're almost halfway through the month. I'm going to have to check that out, Metazoo Menace, your video about Andy. I have not seen that, but I will watch it. I've got to admit, that's about, I think that's a lot of people's situation, is their interest in Metazoo has kind of decreased to a point where they're just not watching a whole lot of Metazoo content anymore. I haven't watched really any except for Argos. And I think part of it is because all the news right now, we already know. It's all negative. There's no positive stories. Stuff is late. Stuff is missing. Stuff is delayed. Stuff is getting cut in half in price 2 weeks after the release of a set. I think a lot of people aren't even making Metazoo videos anymore because there's really no positive stories. Some people don't want to make just negative video after negative video, maybe piss off Metazoo in the process because there's nothing positive to really say. Oh yeah, that's a big one. I think I talked about that in my last video though. Ooh, nice. Chibi Loveland Frogman. I'll be grading this for my Frogman collection. The artists are leaving. The secondary market is getting hammered. And everything, always. The only thing that you can count on with Metazoo is that it's probably going to be late. If you order something, you can probably count on not getting it by whatever time frame they say you will. It's probably the only thing they've really been consistent with lately. I also have a buddy that still has not received his Valentine's Day NFT plushie. From last year, by the way. Well, I guess still counts as this year. Their card quality is very good. I agree with that 100%. Chibi Snipe, full hollow. Last pack of Mothman. Kuromi and Chibi Forest Elemental. Oh, there was an NFT Valentine's Day box. Oh, you're talking about the heart-shaped box. There was an NFT version of that? I didn't even know that. And they still haven't gotten it? Yeah, that's fucking crazy. I didn't even know about that. Yeah, I think a lot of people were pissed about the Caster's Cup. Now, what are your guys' thoughts? Because it seems like we got some really good active members of the Metazoo community here. So people right now in the chat are people who know what's going on. What do you guys think about the Cryptid Clash? I've seen a lot of negative feedback about Cryptid Clash. I haven't seen it. I haven't done anything with it. I haven't played it, nothing. So I have no opinion. I just want to see your guys' opinion on Cryptid Clash. Because so far, I've seen a lot of negative. Full Hollow Chibi Forest Elemental Queen. Apparently, it's very bare bones right now. It has to work or else for their sake. Mr. Sly, I'm glad you say that. And Mr. Sly is like an OG Metazoo fan. He's always in Metazoo streams. I always see him in comment sections. He's speaking the truth. The mango is trash. I like when you have a guy that's like a really big, like you were a fan. You're really involved in the Metazoo community, but you're not afraid to say something that you don't like. And I feel like there's a lot of people, a lot of bigger people in the Metazoo community that will only make excuses for them and only like kind of suck them off at any given opportunity. I think it's very important. And that was a big problem with Metazoo early on, is there's like a reason that this culture exists in Metazoo, in Metazoo, where people are afraid to say negative things, because they were banning a lot of people from Discord, blocking people on Instagram, removing people from the Facebook page if anything negative was mentioned. So there was like a very early on culture of don't say anything bad about the brand. Mike's really sensitive. They don't like it. They'll block you. They'll remove you. They'll never have anything to do with you again. So a lot of people have always been afraid to speak up, and that's kind of led to this kind of weird culture in Metazoo, where a lot of the bigger platforms in Metazoo, if they're a partner, or if they're LGS, or if there's somebody affiliated with Metazoo to the point where they buy and resell product, they're afraid to say anything negative because they might get their supply cut off. I'm going to check it out, Metazoo Menace, but give me the cliff notes in the chat. I don't know anything about Andy. I think I've seen him at a couple. I saw him at the Mothman Festival, I'm pretty sure. But what is the basis of the video? Because I know nothing about Andy. Total blank slate. Give me the cliff notes of what's the deal. Metazoo Black Market, what's up, bro? I love your Instagram page, by the way. I like the quality of your videos. I think you do a really good job with the way that you present the slabs in your videos. I think you just shoot everything very well, so I wanted to give you a shout out. But he says, Clash is super raw, but has good bones. The team building it is working hard and taking feedback. We're about a year away from something polished. The Metazoo Tit. I mean, I think it is true, though. Metazoo had this culture early on that kind of cultivated a certain following where people felt like they had to kind of suck at the teat They had to kiss the ring. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. I'm not participating in any of this NFT, PFP stuff. I think it's a total money grab, total waste. And I think it's really stupid. Metazoo or anything else, I think profile picture projects are fucking stupid. And the reason is because the general public doesn't give a fuck. I can copy and paste the profile picture of any expensive Bored Ape, Yacht Club picture or whatever and make it my profile picture. And I might not be the original owner on the blockchain or whatever, but no one really gives a fuck in the general public. Like, no one knows the difference. Nobody cares. It's like a very niche thing. I think NFTs are done for a while. Thank you, Black Market. I appreciate that. Mr. Sly says, does Metazoo even care if the art gets better? An interesting question. Yeah, I mean, at least there was a set that you can buy with them. Are you talking about the PFP physical set? Totally worthless. I think the PFP set as physical cards was a cool concept, but there's so many variations. There's like 1,000 of each. Like, the market for those cards is so small. There's so many different numbers. There's so many different types of holo patterns. Nobody even knows what they're looking for in that PFP set unless it's somebody that owns the real digital PFP and they want to buy that specific one card that matches their PFP. That whole physical set was a train wreck, and PSA won't even grade that set, by the way. You cannot get those PFP physical cards graded. Chibi, Sam Sinclair, full holo. I think that physical PFP set was a disaster, and it was expensive. They were $100 for like a Revive-sized little box. And if you in the chat, if anybody in the chat knows better than I do, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was like close to 10,000 variations of the cards in the PFP set, right? If anyone knows the actual number. But there's like and it's not a lot of characters. There's like a select few different characters that they made these PFPs of. Some of them, they're wearing like a hat, they're wearing a sunglasses or a necklace or whatever, or they've got a different color background, they've got a different color eyes, or like all these different variations. They're so specific and there's so many variations. The market is like nothing for these cards. I got a really cool, and you guys got to tell me this too. Wasn't there some kind of controversy about the PFP set with the serialized cards? I forget what the deal was, but there was something about the serialized cards. There was like multiple of the same number or something. But I had a serialized Wendigo that I pulled from that PFP set. Really cool looking card, great looking holo. I think it was one of the better variations, but again, it's a very subjective. When you got all these variations, it's so subjective. It was numbered out of 100. I think it sold for less than $50. And I think that's like one of the bigger hits in the set. Reverse Kuromi. And don't forget, guys, after this box, I'm going to do one regular box to see which one had the better hits. The higher numbers were really common, and you got the same Wendigo. Yeah, some cards had the same number, and some had the number printed on it wrong, part of the card. Yeah, that sounds pretty par for the course with Metazoo. I feel like this box has been kind of reverse holo heavy. I feel like our holo pull rate for this box has been a little bit lower. Two different SKUs is odd. I feel like these are the kind of streams, though, where I end up pulling something really good, and then I totally turn my tune around. I talk a lot of shit, and then I start saying all these complaints and negative things. Then if I turned around and pulled the Mothman tonight, the serialized Mothman from Kuromi, then I'll be all stoked and excited on Metazoo. These are the type of streams where that type of thing happens. What's your view? Oh, I'm glad you asked this. What's your view on Metazoo using the fan art boosters as open tryouts for artists? I think that's lazy. I think we don't know for sure, but my speculation is that the artists were going to take a pay cut. And that's why so many artists left at the same time. That's why they said the artists weren't fired. They left of their own free will. But the fact that they all left at the same time suggests that there was something that affected all of them that forced them all to make a decision at the same time. And I think that would be probably a pay cut for the new year. And I think that's why they left. I think Metazoo probably doesn't pay the artists really well. And I think they're looking for possibly a cheaper route for the art. And I think that is what the fan art competition is. I think the fan art booster packs, I think that's what that is. I don't think they're compensating the artists fairly. And I think this whole fan art thing is kind of a way to circumvent actually paying the artists that they already have that are very good what they deserve to be paid. I think that's what this whole thing is. And it's kind of difficult, too, because a lot of these artists that they hired, they're like fresh out of college. It's very tough to get consistent, reliable work if you're a graphic designer or an art major. It's really tough to get consistent work. So you might think if they're paying these guys $400 for a sketch, that's probably actually pretty good money for a young kind of beginning artist. It's probably actually pretty decent. But when you think about the grand scheme of the money that Metazoo is making off this art, making off the cards that the artist featured on, I think the artists are probably starting to see that. And I think their compensation relative to the money that Metazoo is making off these cards is probably a pretty big discrepancy. But I think probably realistically, these artists are making good money for where they are in their careers. A lot of these guys are under 30 and girls. A lot of them are fresh out of college. A lot of them have a very small following. They're really talented. They're really good. But it's really hard to make a really good career as an artist. And I think they're probably, relative to other artists with their similar level of experience, they're probably making decent money from Metazoo. But I think they're probably saying that relative to the money that Metazoo is making off of their work, there's probably a pretty big gap. I think Kelsey Giacchino is probably a good example of that. I think she was like 21 when she drew the original artwork for the first edition Mothman, for the Kickstarter Mothman, the Mothman art that we all know and love. And if she got paid $400 for that art, that's probably great for a young 21-year-old artist. That's a lot of money for someone in that position. But then you look at all the money that card has generated, that artwork has generated, and all she got for that sketch, if it was $400, maybe less back then. There's probably a pretty big gap, and I think a lot of the artists probably see that, and they're probably asking for more based on that. I mean, I remember a time at the peak of Metazoo when the prices were crazy, and I followed Kelsey early on. I remember her posting to her story asking a fan to send her a copy of a first edition Mothman because she didn't yet have one. And at the time, she might not have been able to afford to buy one. I mean, there was a point where the first edition Mothman, not a Kickstarter, but first edition, was going for $2,000 in a PSA 10. For one card. Imagine if she got paid $400 to do the art that served all of those cards, and then she can't even afford to buy one for herself of her own artwork. Carnival lights. Yeah, Poncho is good. I really like Poncho's artwork. Chibi Unicorn. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this box was pretty cold. Chibi Forest Elemental Queen. I completed first edition, and my Ghost Train is a Poncho signed one because it was the cheapest on eBay at the time. I only have one autographed card in my entire collection, and it's a number 5 out of 5 serialized Loveland Frogman from Topps Chrome, a black refractor Cryptid cam, and it's signed by both Poncho and Chris Campman. And then I got it graded, and I got the autographs authenticated, and it's in a nice PSA 10 slab. And I think that is the only artist signed card that I have in my collection. I'm not really big on signature cards, though. I have a lot of bodybuilding trading cards that are signed by the bodybuilder featured on the card. I've got a couple signed Arnold Schwarzenegger cards. I've got a Lou Ferrigno signed card, Ronnie Coleman signed card, Dorian Yates, Phil Heath, Kai Green. That type of stuff I like, but I'm not super into having an artist sign a card that they drew. But I do like that Loveland Frogman card. Kuromi and Chibi Forest Elemental. I have a feeling that this regular box, not from the collector box, this was a regular box that I bought from the Metazoo Marketplace on Black Friday. I think that box is going to destroy this box when it comes to hits. I'll predict it right now. I think I have a good feeling about tonight's opening. We only got one Sanrio 6. It was my favorite one though, so that was good. But I had a good feeling about this opening. I've been thinking about it all day. I think we're going to get something really good out of this booster box from the marketplace. I really do. Another Kuromi Forest Elemental back to back. Faux Follet reverse. Let me organize this pile a little better. By the way, I appreciate you guys watching. I just looked at the clock and it's 3 a.m. I appreciate that all you guys have stayed on this late. I know this was a later stream, but I had a lot going on this weekend, a lot going on today. I still got my girl, she's staying with me. She stayed an extra night tonight. So I was busy earlier tonight. Stayed up a little bit later than I thought we would. So the stream started a little bit late. But yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out. Yeah, I don't know, man. The Black Friday stuff was weird because I bought a couple different things all in the same order on Black Friday. Like I placed them all in my cart at the same time, checked out all together, and they all ship separately. I ordered one of the polos, the Metazoo polo shirts, and that came like a week ago. And then I just got the Kuromi box that I bought from that same order today, and I haven't gotten any promo packs yet. Kuromi number 1. I do think I'm going to grade every Kuromi card if it looks PSA 10 worthy. Good decent centering, no print lines. Metazoo Menace, did I miss it or did you give a summary of your Andy video? If you did, I didn't see it. I don't think that everything they were selling on Black Friday, even aside from those promo packs, I don't think they had everything in stock, in inventory, ready to ship. Because everything that I ordered shipped separately, and they're coming like a week apart from the same order. My Melody and Chibi Iowa Dragon. And a reverse holo, My Melody. I gotta take a quick 60-second pee break, and I'll be right back. If you have any interesting questions, type them in the chat while I'm gone. Keep it going. Time me. 60 seconds. I just saw your... I'll read that when I get back, Metazoo Menace. Hold on. I'll read it now. He said, it was a scene from The Wolf of Wall Street with subtitles of Andy talking about how to get interest-free loans from the Metazoo community. Oh, you mean the pre-orders that we all fucking hate? That's what every pre-order from Metazoo is, for sure. I'm definitely gonna have to watch that video when this ends. Okay. Come here, boy. Cheddar, stop. Go away. Fucking cheddar. Come here. Come here. Come on. Go ahead. All right. Jesus. All right, I'm back. I think it just Metazoo can't get their shit together. It's hard to want to pre-order anything. Agreed. It comes out late, and it's instantly cheaper after release. 100%. It's like saying, hey, Metazoo fans want to be disappointed in multiple ways. Lock your money up with us right now. I agree. And it's kind of crazy how it used to be the exact opposite. I mean, I guess they were always kind of late with the pre-orders. But typically, the pre-orders would sell out immediately. And if you're lucky enough to get something on pre-order or get something on release, it would immediately go up in value. The flippers were going crazy. Metazoo was booming. But all good things have to come to an end eventually. That wasn't going to last forever, and we knew that. But this is kind of, Metazoo right now is kind of the exact opposite of what Metazoo was when everybody was getting interested. Like, the reason they liked it and the reason why so many people started to become attracted to it was because of that original, everything they released skyrocketed in value after first edition for like a little while. The first top set was super hard to get. The Revive collabs, Nightfall went crazy. First edition got up to, I think at the peak, $1,200 a box. Maybe more. Those same first edition boxes now selling for $132 as of this week. Thank you, Mr. Sly. I hope I do too. I have a feeling, though, my little gambling addiction with Metazoo, I probably will keep opening this set until I do pull one. Especially if the price keeps going down on these boxes. I have a feeling that TCGplayer is going to cut the price again. Especially if cutting it in half only sold them an extra 150 boxes of their inventory of, I think, potentially 7,000. If they really want to get rid of it, I think they might cut it again. I have a feeling, you heard it here first, I think they're going to cut it down to $100 for the collector's edition. $100 for 2 boxes. I think they're going to do it to liquidate the rest of their supply. Yeah, in the days after the sale, up until right now, they went from, I don't know the exact number before they cut the price in half, but it was like mid to high 500s. And right now they're slightly over 700. So they haven't even sold 10%, because again, their original inventory on the pre-order was 7,000. And even cutting the price in half, they haven't sold 10% of their inventory. I think they're going to cut it again. I pooped my pants. It's 3 a.m. 3 a.m. We got nothing better to do here. That's why I'm going to wait and see what happens. I'm saving my other 3. I've got 3 more collector's boxes that I'm going to open eventually on the channel. But I just have this feeling they're going to cut it again to $100 for the collector's boxes. And I'm probably going to pick up like 10 if they do that. And honestly, they might even cut it more than one more time. So if they cut it in half, they cut it to $150, and they only sell 150, I think it's been almost a week since they did that, in that first week. They're not getting rid of the 7,000 at that pace. Let's say if they cut it to $100, even if they sell 1,000 more at $100 a box, which is probably being pretty generous, 1,000 more collector's boxes, they would still have over 5,000 boxes sitting in their warehouse that they need to liquidate. I could see them cutting it a third time. I really think if they cut it to $100, 1,000 is a generous number, and I really think they have 7,000 sitting there that they want to get rid of. Chibi Atomacular Reverse. A cold start to this box. But keep in mind it's not just that these boxes will be cheaper from them. Keep in mind what the greater ramifications of that will be for the rest of the secondary market for this box. If they cut it down to $50 a box and they still don't sell out, and then they cut it again, let's say they cut it, could you guys imagine? Imagine if they cut it to like $50 for the collector's box, $25 a box. And I don't think that's entirely impossible. I think they could do that. What if they cut it down to $100 and they still don't even break 1,000 sales overall, and they've got 6,000 left? I could see them cutting it down to something like 50, and even at 50, they might not even sell all 7,000 because that's a big chunk. That's 14,000 booster boxes. Chibi Lachu's full hollow. We don't know the print run for this set, but that's a big chunk of the market. And I think if they do cut it again, we're going to see it sooner rather than later. I think that's why they cut it in half right now. I think before the end of the year, they might cut their losses and just see how much of it they can sell, how cheap they can get it. Yeah, but if it was $50, even at 50, 25 a box, even the haters of Metazoo are picking it up. Do you think they'll sell 7,000 at $50? I think at the end of the day, this collab was a flop for TCGplayer. And I think them cutting the price in half after release is them acknowledging we overordered, we have way too much. I think that is 100% guaranteed. This clearly didn't go the way they thought it was going to go. That's why they cut it in half. And even after cutting it in half, they barely moved the needle. I think they're going to lower it again before the end of the year and just take it as a loss for the final, for the end of the year for their taxes. And free up because these boxes are big, dude. 7,000 of these boxes is probably a pretty significant chunk of warehouse space. Even though there's only 2 booster boxes in these collector's boxes, the boxes overall are probably 3 times the size of a regular booster box. So 7,000 of those. I bet it's a pretty significant chunk of space. And I would bet they would rather just get rid of these, take the loss, free up the space, and move in something new before the end of the year and just say, okay, this one didn't go the way we thought it was going to go. Let's get rid of it. Chibi Snipe, full hollow. If they learn how to advertise to the Sanrio fan base, then it would do better. Sanrio website is selling booster boxes for $140. I bet the target community does not know about this product. We had this discussion on the last stream that we did opening these boxes. And there were several people that said they were like big on Reddit. You might have said the same thing, Metazoo Menace. They went through all the Sanrio and Hello Kitty and Kuromi Reddit pages and all these different communities for Sanrio fan base of Hello Kitty. And they said they searched the keyword Metazoo or the keyword Kuromi's Cryptid Carnival, and there were no results. Nobody in the Sanrio demographic seems to even know that this exists, or if they do know, they don't care. Pooped my pants says, I don't know what this is. However, I have the urge to capture them all and then force them all to fight. Chibi Halloween Parade. It's funny, we're opening this a month and a half after Halloween. Personally, I really do hope we get a Christmas set. Maybe some more ornaments. I've got like one big Christmas tree that I decorate normally and decorate nice. And I've got like one little Christmas tree in a different room that I decorate with the Metazoo ornaments, like my childhood ornament, like kind of the junky ornaments. I'd like to add some more Metazoo to that little tree. But at this rate, I have a hard time thinking that's going to happen. Problem is the eBay listing does not say Kuromi. Yeah, I agree. I think that's weird. If you search Kuromi's Cryptid Carnival Collector's Box, this does not come up because that's not what it says in the listing. You gotta, if you type in Sanrio Metazoo Collector's Box, then it'll come up. Not Hello Kitty, not Kuromi, not Kuromi's Cryptid Carnival. You gotta specifically say Sanrio. I don't think that they did a good job with like the SEO on this. What's up, Dub? And I agree 100% with that, Metazoo Menace. I had no idea what Sanrio was prior to this collab. I had heard of Hello Kitty. I had no idea that Sanrio was like this greater corporation that Hello Kitty fell under. Another reverse. Maybe I was wrong. And you would think that TCGplayer, I mean, we're all just collectors. We're the consumer. And we've got all these ideas about how they should have titled it or how they should have marketed it or advertised it. You would think that TCGplayer that specializes in selling trading cards of all kinds, booster boxes, singles, collabs, box sets, you would think they would know how to market it better than us. But it doesn't seem like they do. And what you just said, Mr. Sly, is why I think a lot of people didn't buy this. They thought it was going to have like some special stamp on the cards, some kind of alternate secret rare, something intrinsic in the set that made it different. But all you have is the little Hello Kitty head in the corner of the box, which is not on the cards. The cards still have the same stamp. A lot of reverses. I remember you saying that too, Sly. You refunded yours when you found out they were just regular booster boxes. I mean, technically, this is the only other variation of the booster box that we have so far. Technically, the pink box might not exist, and this might be the only other variation. Which is my theory. Cheapy Samson Clear. I don't think there is a pink box. And I still stand by, I think if there was a pink box, there would have been one pink and one dark purple in this box set. I think if there was a pink box, it would have been in this product. I think it's just another instance of, they had this like concept of a pink box and a purple box. They released the concept art. They dropped the ball, didn't communicate, didn't tell people there wasn't going to be a pink box after all, and people are just left to wonder and speculate. Is there still going to be one in Claire's or Hot Topic or whatever? I don't think there is one. Another good point. If there was a pink box, there'd be no rationale that made sense to delay the release of the pink box, especially now when the market for this set is already tanking. To say there's a whole nother variation that you're going to flood the market with, if there's nothing different, if there's no different secret rare, there's no different stamp on the cards, there's no different pull rates in the pink box, if it's just a different colored box, it will do nothing for this set. So I don't see any logic as to why they would wait if there was a pink box to release later down the line. It doesn't make any sense. Man, this box is ice cold. Another reverse. Another reverse. Don't let me be wrong about this box. Give me something spicy. Reverse. Oh yeah, my other video is about a screenshot of Andy stating his favorite box art is the pink box and that it will come from other sources. So according to the president, it does exist. We'll see. People in previous streams said they think maybe the pink box will be available at Claire's or Hot Topic, maybe in stores, maybe online. I don't think that decision would make sense either. I think most people that would go to Hot Topic that aren't familiar with Metazoo would maybe buy a blister pack for $15 or $20 or whatever. They're not going to spend $140 retail price for a booster box of cards. They have no idea what it is. They just are familiar with Hello Kitty. And maybe most people might not even be familiar with Kuromi. I've never heard of Kuromi prior to this. I heard of Hello Kitty. I had never heard of any of the names of the other characters prior to this. I could see where maybe it seems like that would be cool. I think it would be cool, actually. I think it would be cool if they had a pink box that was exclusive to the big box stores, to Claire's or Hot Topic. But I don't think it would make any sense at all. Maybe on the website. Maybe a couple Metazoo fans go into Claire's and Hot Topic and buy it. But why, even if you're a hardcore Metazoo fan and you only go to Claire's or Hot Topic to get the pink box, why would you go in there when you know it's going to be MSRP of $140? And by the time that it comes out, the regular boxes might be down to $60 a box. I mean, at that point, would you really care so much about the boxes that you would pay 2.5 times the market value of a regular colored box just to have a different color of the box? If there's no different hits, there's no different secret rare, there's no special stamp. Maybe it has the big box icon on it, but I don't know. Another Halloween parade. Forest Elemental Queen. I mean, I know that they also released concept art or like early pictures of a 3-pack blister pack. I think that would be the most likely thing to go into a Claire's or a Hot Topic versus a full booster box. And we haven't seen the 3-pack blister pack yet. We don't know where it's going to be. But I think that would be the most likely thing to go into those big box stores. Which is the other important part of this, Metazoo Menace. It's mid-December, and we've seen no sign that Claire's or Hot Topic will... They've said that Metazoo said they will carry this set. But there's been no sign of this at Claire's or Hot Topic or on the websites. And the set is already tanking, and they're just going to add to the secondary market. They're going to flood it more. They're going to drive the value down more, probably having these in a big box store. With a set like this that is tanked this fast, releasing it in big box stores a month or maybe multiple months after release is only going to hurt it, I feel like. Metazoo Maniac pulled a secret rare from the collector's box. Ooh, nice. Another Sanrio 6. So 3 boxes tonight. 2 Sanrio 6 Kuromi number 4s. 1 from a collection box and 1 from a regular. Not bad. But congratulations to Metazoo Maniac. Which number did you pull? Mike the Headless Chicken. The number of competitive players that Metazoo has is less than 1,000, going to decrease without a Dark Tower. Payout and the cancellation of Caster Cup. A 41 out of 131. Nice, bro. Congrats. Are you thinking of selling it? I haven't seen one of these sell yet, but I'm so curious to know what they're going to go for. Because I would almost rather buy one than keep opening this set. Hoping to pull one. Chibi Flatwoods Monster. Nice. A true collector. Already sent the PSA. Chibi Mike the Headless Chicken. I feel like my prediction for this card in a PSA 9, I'd say, I think it'll be around $1,000. PSA 10, probably closer to 2,000. I think that's about where this card is going to hover. 9 to 10, 1,000 to 2,000. I could be way off, but I don't think it's going to go for much more than $2,000. But I don't see it going much lower than 1,000. Chibi Adam Ackler. That might be realistic, Metazoo Maniac. A PSA 10, I could see 2,500. Maybe on the first one sold. Chibi Grim Reaper reverse. Some night in the near future, we'll open the 3 more collector's boxes that we've got. So we'll do another like 6-box stream. But I do kind of want to wait and see, and just see what the market holds for the actual secret rare. If I could just buy it for like, I wonder if raw, I mean, what do you guys think it's going to sell for raw? If someone just listed it raw, didn't send it to the PSA, do you think it'd be like $1,000? And we know that it's serialized. We know that it's secret rare. We know that it's kind of hard to pull. But we also don't know the print run of this set, so we don't know the exact rarity of a card that's numbered to 131. If there's 25,000 boxes, it might not be that hard to pull. 25,000 divided by 131 versus 50,000 divided by 131 is a pretty big difference. Or 100,000. And there's also the possibility, we don't know this, but there's the possibility that there could have been less than 25,000 of these boxes. Kuromi number 2. Very nice. Does anybody know the significance of the number? Why 131? Pretty much everything else they've done has been numbered out of 100, right? Dude, I opened so much Nightfall hoping to see Old Scratch, never did. My buddy Chris is the exact same way. He keeps buying Nightfall because the boxes keep getting cheaper, and every time he buys it, he'll buy 2 or 3 boxes. He's like, bro, this is the night we're going to pull Old Scratch. And we end up getting nothing. Even if you pull what I think is the hardest card to pull aside from Old Scratch, if you pull a Wendigo from your Nightfall box, and that Wendigo is gem mint, you grade a PSA 10, right now, you'd be lucky to get $35 for that card. And Wendigo is a card that's really hard to pull. You could open 3 or 4 boxes of Nightfall and not pull a Wendigo. So I just don't see the value in ripping Nightfall. I've ripped a lot. I've probably ripped over 50 boxes of Nightfall, and I've never pulled an Old Scratch. But I pulled a lot of Mothmen and a lot of Wendigos. And if you get a perfect one, the best hits from Nightfall, perfect Mothman, perfect Wendigo, you're probably looking at $30 in a PSA 10 after you spend $15 minimum to grade them. In our final pack of the night, a reverse holo, My Melody. Man, that was rough. No secret rare. But I guess compared to our previous openings, even if we got a lot of reverse holos tonight, we had 2 Sanrio 6 out of 3 boxes, which technically is our best pull rate of any opening of this set that I've done on this channel. So I guess that is a win. But again, kind of a lackluster opening overall in terms of hits. But I guess I can't be too disappointed with that, because this is my favorite of the Sanrio 6. But thank you guys for tuning in. Almost 4 a.m. I love you guys. I hope you guys know how much I enjoy talking to you, hanging out, talking Metazoo. I hope to see you guys on the next one. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. Love you guys, man. Have a great rest of your night and get some sleep. Nick Strength and Pokemon signing out.